Good afternoon. Happy Savage Saturday, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here. We're here with Savage Saturday Comic Review, episode 90, getting things back on track. And let's take a look at the cover of the book with the story in it that we are reviewing, and that is the Savage Sword of Conan, issue 97, with a cover by Gaetano Liberatore, and just a beauty of a cover. Absolutely gorgeous. The menace on Conan's face is a parrot, and just a great little setting there. Absolutely love this cover. Really good, in my opinion. And, of course, the story we're talking about is The Leopard Men of Darfar. Okay, and this is just a fun romp of a story. And as this story opens up, well, it's written by Michael Fleischer, who is a very adept Conan writer, in my opinion. I've read a lot of Conan stories from him. He seems to have a real grasp of the character and who he is. We have art by Pablo Marcos, who is always a classic, right? One of the most talented guys that was out there. And we have lettering by Rick Parker. All right, so I'm going to start out with our first page, which is a full-page spread. You got Pablo Marcos' signature at the top. And you got the bandits around a campfire, and they're talking to this woman that says, "Haha, that's a good girl, Anya. Fill it to the very brim and try not to let loneliness get the better of you, lass." So, you think that his statement portends something bad happening to her. You see Conan there, and you have a feeling that things are going to get hectic in a very short amount of time. And as our next page goes, the guy that she just filled up his mug with, Mead, it says, "Our dashing chieftain and the others of our band will be returning soon enough, after all." And when they, what was that? And that's when Conan leaps into the camp and just starts going on a wholesale barbaric slaughter. And it's just taking out this band of rogues just at his leisure, just super easy. Conan is having no issues with the men in the camp down. Some are covering. He didn't kill them all. Conan says, "Come on now, girl. You're coming with me." She's like, "My father? Pah, I spit on my father. All he ever cared about was keeping me chaste and chaperoned so that I might remain unsewed and virginal until my marriage. But it's Tomac Tharn, the robber chieftain who abducted me, who has initiated me in the ways of love and the fleshy joys of womanhood." All right. And she's like, "Is he?" And Conan's like, yeah, that may all be true. But your father's promised me 1,000 Stygian Imperials." And Conan says, "And as much as you love this dude, trust that I love gold more than that." And with that, he's off with her into the night, through the desert, on horseback. And then our next page reveals the next day with Conan and her at an oasis as there's other people approaching. So some great art. Pablo Marcos telling a great story here. Michael Fleischer doing a great job of portraying Conan in character and just putting a bit of fun in the tale. So these guys are approaching the oasis. They can hear the girl talking. They're sneaking up. And Conan's just had enough of her jabbering. It's like, "Crom's teeth, will you keep silent, woman? Can't you hear that while you've been driving me to distraction with your infernal jabbering? Someone's been..." And then Conan's like, "Shit, we've been had. Blast me for a fool. There's slavers around us." And then we go back to the camp where Conan first abducted her. And Tomac Tharn is back. And he kills the one remaining guy that let Conan get away with his woman. And has vowed to pursue Conan and get his woman back. So a lot going on here. And as you can see here, this is the next page where he ends up slaying the guy that could not kill Conan. And then our tale takes us back to Conan and Anya. And they are in shackles alongside another guy, a Darfarian. And his name is, I think it's Lasuthi is how you pronounce it. Lasuthi Pa. So they're becoming friends with the other captive, and these three are kind of the loners of the slaves that the slavers have, and they have set them apart from the others, thinking that they'll fetch a better price. Now Conan is just waiting for his chance, and as soon as he sees some swamplands and marshes around, Conan goes into action, takes out a guy on a camel, takes that guy's dagger, cursing the whole time that he didn't have a better knife to throw, and buries it with one agile throw in the hide of another man, dropping him. And then they're off. Conan's got to pick her up and run, and he's already telling her that she has just been in way too much trouble than she might be worth to him. And as they go into the marshes, they get freedom at last, as the slavers down here decide that they've already lost enough pursuing them. They've lost a few comrades, plus the other slaves are trying to revolt and run away. And they decide to hedge their losses and just gather the other slaves that they had previously and continue on. And our adventure continues. All right, as they make their way through the swamplands, they finally come out through the marshes, and Conan points out there Defarin, that opulent mansion nestled on the far side of that ravine, where this grassy marshland gives way to forest. And so they go and they enter this house, and they meet the guy that's ruling there. And he seems a kindly sort at first, offers them food, beverage, and freedom, and which Conan and the other two are all about. But unbeknownst to Conan and the others, he is plotting against them. He has made a ruse of sending someone to get the blacksmith to break their chains, when in fact he has sent out to have jailers return and apprehend them. And when they return, as you can see down here, it's putting Conan in a rage at being betrayed once again. Conan's getting to the point where he's kind of had his fill with it. And Conan slaughters them all by himself, just in a mad Cimmerian rage, blood rage. And the other guy just breaks down crying and begging for his life so Conan doesn't kill him. And Conan, not being one to murder somebody unarmed or someone that he just doesn't find worthy, lets the guy live. But it's not soon after that the guy's name, Tomac Tharn, arrives with his bandits, still looking for Anya. And they rob this guy of the gold after they find out what direction Conan's heading in, and then they're off to find Conan and kill him if they can. And tale switches to the next page, back to Conan and the Defarian and Anya. And Conan is trying to break their chains, but they do not see this giant snake down here sneaking upon them. And the whole time she's jabbering, driving Conan nuts. And he is having a little bit of fun. In just a moment here, she is captured by the snake, and he's like, well, at least it's accomplished the one thing we cannot, it's shut you up. But he does save her, and what a great spread this is. And then they're on their way. Now, as they go to set out, Conan has slain the snake, and he sees a canoe coming, and the Defarian is saying, it was sound judgment that you told us to climb up here. There's those people in the canoe, they're cannibals, and they would devour our wildly beating hearts while we still lived. And Conan's like, well, he goes, you learned a lot being a scholar, because Conan's still trying to learn about this guy. The guy's a scholar heading back to his home country to try to free his people. But Conan has other ideas and attacks the cannibals and takes over the canoe. Because Conan is sick of trudging through the forest, through the swamps, through the desert. He wants a quicker, better ride and something a little bit easier. And so slaughters them, and they're on their way. And like I said, it's a romp of a tale. But what Conan doesn't realize is that they are heading straight for a waterfall. So they're over the waterfall and down. And as this is happening, the Defarian Lapushi has a great little saying. He says, oh, I lost it. My apologies, guys. And he says, "Nay, you needn't fear that. I was about to bore you, barbarian. For indeed, it's clear you're a man who'd much prefer to learn life's lessons from personal experience than from oral recitations." And but then Conan is mad that he doesn't tell him about the waterfall. The Dafarian says that he got turned around and was kind of lost and didn't know what was coming upon them that quickly. But too late, over the falls they go, crashing about. And let's see. Now, she is looking, as they come out of the water, she is looking for the shawl she had about her neck. Along the way, she's been clipping little beads and leaving them as markers for Tomac Clarn to follow them. But when they come out of the water, she has lost it. And now she has no way to communicate to her lover where Conan has taken her or where they're headed. And once they do come out of the water, they meet a band of Amazons. And they are just captured once again in this comedy of errors. Now, once captured, they are brought into the company of these Amazons. And there's a ritual there that happens. The leader of the Amazons, no matter who she is called Nzinga. Alright, so this new incarnation of Nzinga chooses Conan for a mate, but they're all due to die anyway, but even the ones that she mates with, she kills. So you see the poor, first they're hung up here, and then they're taken in there, Conan is, to mate with her. Conan, of course, is going to have none of that. He says, "Someday, by Crom, some wise man is going to condescend to tell me why it is that women always have such a hard time taking no for an answer." Because he tells her that she chooses her mates and she sends her 2 panthers upon him. And Conan doesn't like that. He kills both of the panthers and then he grabs her by the hair and drags her out. And at sword point, she is forced to concede and order the other Amazons to free the Dafarian and Anya. And then they're off on their own, whiting wild zebras out. And Conan hears the tale from Lapushti for the first time. He goes, "I am, as I have already told you, a member of the Wongolo tribe, which has for countless generations earned its relative prosperity by working its ancestral diamond mines. But when I was still a babe in mother's arms, Sumerian, our lands were invaded by the leopard men, the fearsome warrior caste of a rival tribe whose members had always coveted our comparative wealth. For days the battle in and out of our village raged," he goes, "until at last the leopard men won. And now his tribe still works the mines, but now they work them as slaves. His mom had snuck him away, and so he would not be sacrificed, because the babes were being sacrificed to the leader of the leopard men, who was blessed by their God and can transform into a half man, half leopard, and was nigh invincible in that form, and also would eat the young. So all this is happening. So we're getting the telling of the tale here. And as we turn the page, the tale continues, and then we are back in the modern as Lapushti finds the chieftain he was looking for in the mage, and he blesses him. He blesses him and performs a ritual that is supposed to give him the power to free his people, and he gives him a spear, which is the only weapon that can harm this leopard man. And he goes, "As you grow forth from this cave, my son, let no clutch of fear hold you in its icy grip. The lion shall slay the leopard." So it is prophesied. Now, of course, we all know Conan's going to slay the guy and not him. And this is taking place during the time Conan's away from Belit and the riders of the Black Coast, the Black Corsairs, where he is called Amra, the lion. They don't know that. They only know him as Conan in this tale, and such as it is. But you, as a reader, if you're steeped in the Conan lore, you know the lion's meant to kill the leopard, and you know that Conan is going to be that lion. So as it goes, they're running across more perils. They stop her from running into these man-eating trees, just barely. And then as they're sneaking to the Defaran village to try to free them, they are set upon by the leopard king himself, who transforms. And right there, great panel. If you take a look at that art, it just looks fantastic. Pablo Marcos doing a fantastic job in this issue. And this story is just nice and fast, pace to pace, place to place. Nice pace to it, just really well done. And so Lapushti, doing his duty, runs forward to try to slay the leopard man and is in a single blow rendered helpless. And then Conan goes to fight him, and Conan is just getting his butt soundly whooped by this guy. His Hyrcanian steel is doing no good. It can't harm him. And the Defarian tells him that it can only be killed by the spear. So Conan, being crafty, first you'll see him take a little bit more of a whooping there and get thrown face down, which is kind of comical, into the sand. The leopard man's about to beat him. Conan dives away, a last minute attempt to save his hide, and pulls out like a little gold singlet that was on Anya's scarf, her skull, or you know what I'm talking about, her shawl, and that's when she knows that he took it. But he blinds the leopard man momentarily, gets a hold of the spear, and then just absolutely runs him through with it and destroys him. So the leopard man has indeed been defeated by a lion. The prophecy has come true. And the Wongalos seize up their pickaxes and whatever weapons lie handy and begin turning on their erstwhile captors with a blood-hungry ferocity born of 2 decades and more of freedom denied. The battle is as brief as it is murderous. So once the Leopard King falls, the Defarians have the fortitude to rise up against the other people that served him and slay them. But he was too powerful when he was in power there. Now they all come up. They're all chanting Amra, and the guy says, the shaman was right, Conan. The leopard has indeed been slain by a lion. So you've earned a new name for yourself, have you, Conan? And yet, there's still something that I want explained to me. And he's like, what is it, girl? It's like this metal disc, which you momentarily blinded the monster long enough to enable you to reach the spear. It's from my shawl, the one I lost when. He goes, hey, girl, it is. He says, I spied you laying down the trail for your bandit friends almost immediately after we set out, and so, while we were all trashing about in the river, I stole it from you. And cached those metal discs inside my belt. He goes, and then I set about laying a little trail of my own, even as we speak. Tomac Tharn and his companions are following them. And he laid them a trap going into the man-eating trees. And they are devoured to a person, and then she kind of warms up to Conan, and our tale ends with her in Conan's arms, and Conan plotting to get back to Belit and company. So a fun little tale, a lot of twists and turns, just a great adventure romp. And of course, Conan being a survivor, Conan being smart, not getting fooled by her leading the old camp to them. He spotted it right away. He already had a plan to usurp that shawl from her and use it in a better means to his ends. Super fun. We're going to give the story a B+. It's a good Conan tale. It's a fun Conan tale. It's not a deep tale. It's not one of the best Conan stories ever written. It's certainly not one of the worst. This is a very good Conan tale. It keeps Conan in character. The woman fighting him the whole way to be back with the bandit was a good change. It was fun. Added a little bit of turmoil to the story. The Defarian was nice. It led them on another separate trail and adventure. And you got to learn how Conan got the name Amra. And just a lot of fun and a lot of good setup in this issue. And a great one-off story. Overall, I'd give the whole thing a B+ for sure. Maybe even an A. Really enjoyed it. It's one I would read over and over again just because it's a fun wrong, as I've said. But that's it for this week, guys. Until next time, keep it casual. Attention all, use channel sponsor Rogue Trader at theroguetraderutah.com and my code KEEPITCASUAL for 10% off your comic cleaning and pressing needs. Remember, when submitting your books to be graded, use a trusted professional.